Dear Brent Boyer, I am a humble New York Jets fan. I'm not going to sit here and say that I know everything about scouting and player personnel or anything like that. And to be fair, you're a coach in the NFL, and I am a lowly guy in my office making videos about my favorite football team, which you happen to be a coach on. But that does not exclude you from criticism. So this is a New York Jets fan's open letter to Brent Boyer. Brent, what the hell are you doing, man? It almost seems like you're actively trying to hamper and hinder the New York Jets from having success with the decisions that you're constantly making about personnel to play for your special teams. Let's go down the list of the players that you get to make a decision about and the players that you get to keep on this team and how arguably every step of the way you've made the wrong decision. Let's start with the only right one that you did in Thomas Hennessy. Guy's elite. Never get rid of him. But knowing you, you might go get rid of him for somebody who's less good, right? So let's start with Braden Mann, punter. It came out that you knew that Braden Mann was dealing with a back injury going into the Baltimore Ravens game. How do you, knowing that your punter is dealing with a back issue, a massive muscle that he uses when he's punting the ball, and don't go out and sign a replacement punter? They're out there. You can go get them. They're not that hard to find. And we're not looking for an all-star punter. We're looking for a guy to replace Braden Mann for 1 week while he heals so that he doesn't shank a 20-yard punt. Who in their right mind starts an injured punter? It's not that hard, and it wouldn't cost you that much money to bring in a guy for a week. What are you doing, Brent Boyer? Let's talk about Greg Zuerlein and the kicking competition. While I may have agreed with you before making the decision that I wanted Greg Zuerlein, very clearly I was wrong about that decision, and so were you. Eddie Pinheiro goes to Carolina and lights it up, while Greg Zuerlein comes into New York and misses an extra point and a field goal. Brent Boyer, what are you doing? Let's talk about the other two positions that you're allowed to keep on the 53-man roster, wide receiver and cornerback. Why is Jeff Smith on this football team? Brent Boyer, do your job and teach an elite athletic specimen that is Denzel Mims. Coach him up and teach him to do whatever it is that Jeff Smith is doing. Because I can tell you that you don't teach that kind of size and strength and speed and athleticism that Denzel Mims has. And him being on the field, being the fifth wide receiver, is more helpful for this football team than having Jeff Smith on the field and playing for this football team. Do your job, Brent Boyer. What are you doing? Let's talk about Justin Hardy taking up a roster spot when he absolutely has no business in the world ever in a million years lining up on the defensive side of the ball. You are wasting a roster spot on someone who gave up 70 yards or 75 yards in penalties last year, but he's a captain? He's a leader? The guy who's giving up that many yards in penalties is the leader of your special teams? Go teach an elite athlete in Javelin Guidry who has Olympic speed to be a gunner. Brent Boyer, do your job. Brent Boyer, what are you doing? It just seems like at every turn, at every point, that you can make a decision that's going to help the New York Jets roster and help us win games. You do the opposite. And you let us cut players, and you keep players that are actively being bad players on offense and defense so that they can be average or below average players on your special teams unit. Brent Boyer, do better.